Mark Brandi at Prince's Park, where he jogs regularly. Credit Justin McManus. It's not an uncommon story, Brandi says, women trapped by men, despite their best efforts to escape. Brandi, 41, is no stranger to human tragedy. For most of his professional life, he has worked in the criminal justice system. Then, 2 years ago, he published a novel called Wimmera. Before it reached the bookstores, it had won the British Crime Writers Association debut dagger. Many more awards followed. His second novel, The Rip, is out this week. Like Wimmera, it is not exactly a crime novel. It is more a novel about life where a crime happens. The Rip is the love story of two homeless heroin addicts. It's set in Melbourne's inner north, Fitzroy, Carlton, Prince's Park. Mark Brandi at his grandparents' gravesite in the Melbourne General Cemetery. Credit Justin McManus as Brandi cleans the gravestone. He tells me a story about his grandfather. One summer afternoon in Moonee Ponds, Brandi's dad, Tommaso, had a big row with Luigi. In the heat of the moment, Tom shouted at his father, "I'll be happy if I never see you again." And with that, the two men parted. Tom never did see his father again because a few days later a truck ran onto the footpath and killed him. Tommaso Brandi emigrated to Australia in 1957 and became a train driver. 4 years later he returned to Italy and married Thomasina. They moved back here together and had 3 sons, Jim, Roy, and Gary. Tom loved the job driving regional trains around Victoria. Then he hit a car accident and hurt his back. His doctor broke the bad news, "Tom, you can't go back to driving trains. Have you ever thought of running a country hotel? The smallest act of kindness can change your world." The doctor paused. "As it happens, I have one for sale." Dad had never really set foot in a hotel before, Brandi says, laughing. "It's not really an Italian thing." But Tom and his doctor set off to inspect the pub, installed in Western Victoria. It was rat-infested and derelict. Nevertheless, Tom returned that night to break the good news to Thomasina, who spoke no English. They were moving to a lovely place called Stall to run a hotel. In 1976, the family packed up and went back to Italy. An archaic law decreed that if you don't work arable land, the state can take it back. So, Tom and Sina returned to their medieval hilltop village, Ortesno, northeast of Rome. And this was where they had their 4th son, Mark. 18 months later they were back at the pub in Stall, which they ran for more than 30 years.